I'll just go with the real hard-hitting one right off the top, Broads. What are you doing? How are you keeping sane?
No, losing sanity very quickly. We've started painting the house, so Izzy, my partner's off work as well, so we're busy painting the house at the moment. So that, and obviously training as well. So we've got our program to do. So getting stuck into that and doing a bit extra because I'm getting that bored that I'm actually enjoying getting out and training.
Are you bettering yourself as a person? A lot of players are saying they're studying and the painting and whatnot. Do you feel like you're achieving some stuff you wouldn't have otherwise done?
Yeah, studying's always been a weak point for me. So I've signed up for a course. Myself and Kyle Hart are going to do that while we're not at the club. So I've got no excuse but to do it now. So pressure's on.
Renman?
Sorry, boys. I forgot it was me. Brodie, I was just going to say, how frustrated have you been? I mean, everyone's in the same boat, I guess, but, just all the waiting around, etc.
I guess the first week was pretty frustrating. We weren't really sure if we were going to play or not. And then, once we got the green light, I think it was on a Wednesday or a Thursday still, in those 2 days leading up to the game, we weren't really sure the virus developing so quickly, if we were still going to play or not. So that was a pretty frustrating week. And then obviously that weekend developed really quickly and we were made aware that that was the only game we were going to play for a while. So, obviously it's a terrible time for everyone. I mean, for us, it's just footy. We've lost footy, but there's a lot of people around the world and around the country that have lost jobs and are doing it pretty tough. So as frustrating it is for us, we're pretty aware that we're pretty lucky that we're still able to hold on to our jobs.
Brodie, I guess I think Tom answered it last night on Fox Footy, but he was saying he still feels like it would be a legitimate season, albeit if it is a shorter one. Are you in the same boat? Do you still feel like it would be, not an asterisk next to it for want of a better term?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's always going to be a year that's going to be remembered, that's for sure. So it's definitely going to look different when we get back, and who knows how far away that is. But it's going to look different to your normal 22-game full-length season. So I think everyone's aware of that. And, whether it's 12 games, 17 games, whatever it is, a premiership's a premiership. And once we get back out there, we'll be doing everything we can to win it. So it might even be a little bit more special because it's that strange year of the coronavirus that we're able to bounce back and win a flag. It'd still be amazing.
Am I right to jump in now? It's Isabel from Fox.
Yeah, go.
Brodie, you had a bit of a scare against Sydney with your chest. What's happened with that?
I was being soft, basically. That's the report coming through. So, no, I just landed on the footy and winded myself. And normally after a minute or two, you get your breath back and you're right to go. But I was just declining and getting worse and worse. So thankfully got to half time and went and saw the doctor just to my plan was just pop a painkiller or something and get back out there. But all of a sudden they were putting blood pressure on me and heart rate. And my heart rate just wasn't declining as they would have liked. So they kept me in. 5 minutes turned into 10 minutes, and that turned into a whole quarter. And then I was able to convince them to let me have a run around at 3/4 time and get back out there. But all my x-rays and scans and stuff showed that I'm completely fine. So I'm back into training, doing the full program that we've got now. So, yeah, it's just being a bit soft in the end.
There is that proposed May 31 start date back to the season, but, it could be later than that, as we know. How do you go about training during this period, finding that balance between, not going too hard too early and maybe prolonging it if it does, prolonging your training if it does go past that May 31 date?
Yeah, it's an interesting period. Obviously, we've got that date, but with this virus, who knows what's going to happen? We're not sure if we'll get back in that time or not. So there's going to be guys that will lose motivation potentially and not do too much. And there's going to be guys like your Rory Sloanes that will just train the absolute house down and burn themselves out. So there is that balance there that you've got to be disciplined to do the program. But as I said, we're getting bored, and for some guys, the way to get out of that boredom is to go train. And, we don't want to come back and have guys that have overdone it and have got injuries and that sort of thing. So it's a fine line. Our guys have been really good. We're getting constant emails on program updates and what it looks like. And as soon as we get information on the possible dates, if it does change, they've got plans in place to adjust the program and make sure that when we get back, we're ready to go and kick off the season, which potentially could be, 2 games a week or whatever it looks like. So it's an ever-changing landscape at the moment. We just got to take it day by day and be ready to attack whatever is thrown at us.
Just lastly, you yourself, what are your motivation levels like right now?
Not too bad. Yeah, as I said, we're losing our minds slowly. So using training a bit to take our mind off of what's going on and just get out of the house and get some fresh air has been good. But definitely missing, going to the club and seeing all the boys and obviously playing and playing in front of our supporters. And, you do a whole pre-season and train for the season to start and you get one game in, it's taken away from you. It's pretty deflating. But now we know we've got a program in place. At the moment, I'm doing pretty good. So getting out there and training. But the longer we're locked up in the house, it's going to get pretty tough.
G'day, Broads. Obviously pretty tough times with a couple of blokes let go from your club. Have you touched base with any of the development guys, and do you know if a lot of the assistants and all those guys will be back when footy comes back?
Yes, obviously, no one's at the club at the moment, and some guys will come back, some guys won't, unfortunately, but we've been in contact. We've got a big WhatsApp group with all the coaches and players, so we're able to keep in touch with those guys and talk footy, life, what we're doing. So our group's been really good with that, and it's obviously something that Nixie's driven that it's what we can do for others, and it's about everyone being involved as a group. So I think we're really good in that area, and I spoke to Mickey Godden on the phone today, and spoke to Nixie the other day. So we're just keeping in touch and making sure everyone's doing all right. But as I said, I think there's something, through obviously technology and WhatsApp and the house party apps and whatnot, we're all keeping in touch and making sure everyone's doing well.
So what do the coaches say? What would Nixie and Godsey say at a time like this to you?
Not much. Obviously, there's not much footy to talk about, but just a general chat, really. As I said, just to make sure everyone's well-being's all right and how's training going, what does the program look like, are you getting it done, what gym equipment do you have, that sort of stuff. And on Monday, we caught up on Zoom as a leadership group and just had a chat about what we can do to help the group and little things to keep everyone engaged. So we're definitely still thinking of everyone and trying to think of ways that as a group we can keep getting better during this. So it's just good that everyone's got their back, each other's back, and we can push through this tricky period.
His main question, Brodie, was given the shorter quarters that we experienced in round one, is that something you feel should continue, or they should maybe even become shorter given people's fitness base won't be the same because there's nothing like match fitness?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the main concern coming back. As I said, the timeline is an unsure timeline at the moment, and some guys don't have access to gym equipment to do some of their injury prevention that we normally do at the club. So it is going to be tricky when we get back, what kind of fitness levels we have and where guys are at with certain injuries. So if it is a case where we have to jam games into a short period, it's going to make it tough for some guys. So I think that, obviously the AFL will look at all those options, but I think definitely for this year, that shorter quarter might be the way to go, and potentially even more players on the bench. And as I said, it's going to look different to every year, so why not try a few things and see if we can get through the year without too many blokes going down injured.
One more from Cross here is, given the fact we're now all working remotely, has that affected the club's culture at all, or its ability to try and improve the culture off the back of recent times?
I don't think so. Obviously, it makes it tougher because we don't get to see each other. But as I said, we caught up on Monday and we've got a few things in place to make sure we're looking after everyone, check in on the young guys, see how they're doing, and make sure not only that they're training, but that their mental health is all right and then they're doing okay. And obviously, everyone's family is going to be in different situations with people losing jobs and people hopefully not sick, but depending, how bad this virus gets. So obviously family and health comes first, but then making sure everyone's ready to come back in good shape as well. So, we've got a few groups that we're keeping in touch with and make sure, everyone's doing all right.
Any
I
others,
got one.
guys?
Yeah. How much can, as someone who's done a lot of pre-seasons, how much can like this time off, how important is it for like a younger player who's in his first or second year where you build all this fitness? How much will they suffer from having to do this themselves for probably many months?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, definitely. Someone like myself, I've been in the system long enough to know what I have to do and maintain my condition. But, you think of young guys that have come in like a Lockie Gallant, not much meat on his bones and never really seen a weights program before, and all of a sudden he's at home having to do it himself and with limited gym gear as well. So it is difficult, but as I said, we've got the WhatsApp group with a lot of different exercises coming through. The weights guys have been really good. They've put video demonstrations on there on how to do certain exercises, things like that. So it is going to be tough for those younger guys, but that's why we've got to keep in touch with them and make sure they're doing all right and see how they're going with their training. But it's going to be really tough for them.
I'll just get one more if that's all right. Brodie, I was just going to, obviously a bit's been played out through pay and all that kind of stuff. Have you been disappointed with the narrative of the way it's played out publicly?
Yeah, well, I guess it's always, everything we do is going to be in the public eye, and it's unfortunate in a time like this that sort of thing's out there. But we understand that we're in a lucky position to be in the position we're in, and a lot of people are going through some tough times at the moment and losing jobs and that sort of thing. So obviously it's a really tough time, and we're trying to do our best to help other people out as well. So. We just back the AFLPA to do what they do, and they're really good at looking after us. And thankfully, it's all sorted now, and we can move on to getting back to business and looking after our families and helping people out that need it.
Can I jump in, Bro? Can I just ask the May 31 resumption date? I know you sort of got to prepare for that, but in the back of your head, are you sort of resigned to that might be a little bit further away?
When we're training in groups of two, it seems pretty unrealistic that it's going to happen, doesn't it? So, obviously, as I said, we've got the program that we're coming back that date, and until we're told differently, we'll keep doing that. But unfortunately, that it's looking pretty tough to get back. But fingers crossed. I really hope, obviously, that we are, and the sooner we can get back to playing footy and get life back to some sort of normality, the better we'll all be.